Sitting here in the morning. Son still got bed hair. Sitting here playing these spinning tops. But no, this is what keeps me pushing every day. You know, to see the smile on his face, and just to know that I'll be making a better life for him, and you know, this generation to follow. Very much love my guy. Say hi.
Hi.
So when we first came out, when I first actually launched IPGEN, well not launched, but you know, started working on it, because we're launching in September of this year. But when I first launched, or started in January 2019, I think I tried to raise maybe a couple months after that. Which now that I know the lay of the land, it was crazy. We weren't ready at all. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have the proper people around me to successfully do it. I hadn't talked to enough potential customers. We weren't finished with the MVP. We just weren't nowhere near ready to raise, and I went out there. I started talking to investors. You know, got shot down by all of them. So that was a time where I was like, okay, something's not right. I need to go back to the drawing board and really see what I need to do to make this better, to draw these investors to want to come and follow IPGEN's vision, follow my vision to what I had in store for this. So, you know, that's just one thing that, you know, was a dark time for me. It was light at first, where I just thought I was going to raise, you know, a couple $1 million off the bat. Then it got dark when I got turned down by a bunch of the investors that I was seeking. One problem was I was seeking investors who usually invest in later stages, for one. But even the early stage ones turned us down at that moment because we weren't ready. I'm still in contact with a lot of them now. So when we do our official, it's going to be a seed. It's going to be a heavy seed around, later this year. A lot of them, have kept in contact, and they've shown me the right way to do this. So we'll be ready when we go back in front of them with the pitch next time. So I don't want to cast a light that startup life is all negative, even though part of the title is dark. I wanted to tell people that there are times that we go through things that may not be great. In the corporate world, you have that steady check. And whenever if you have a job, you have that steady check coming in. But there can be some dark times, but there are also some great moments. And I want to just talk about a few of the great moments, a few of the wins that we've had so far as a young company. So one is that we took that leap and started. IPGENIUS formed. That's a milestone in and of itself to just take that leap. But also, we've been developing for a little while now, so that's coming along great. It's background. It doesn't splash. People always ask me, how's the company going? I can just say it's going according to plan, because that's all I can say. We haven't launched yet, so people don't understand that development takes a little while, and it's key to the company's growth. So our development is going very well with what we're doing. We're actually doing rapid development right now, so that's great. But a few of the milestones that we've already had is being invited to the 1863 Ventures Accelerator, TEDCO Builder Fund Accelerator, and LexisNexis Legal Tech Accelerator. So I think I'm applying to those as such a young company early on. We were nervous about going into that application because there were a bunch of companies who were more mature than us, who've already launched, who've already have customers, who are already bringing in revenue, and we're a company who still pre-revenue. We haven't launched yet, but those accelerators saw our vision of what we can do and what we will do, that they accepted us to these accelerators. And we've met so many great people during these accelerators. People in the field, people in the investor world, VC. So when we do get to that point, we will have a great network of people that we can talk to who can take us to that next level. So I'm super excited about where we are now. Even though there's been plenty of dark times, I definitely see the light at the end of that tunnel now. It's within reach. I feel like where the camera is now, I can reach it, and that's how close I feel we are to starting our successful journey. And so definitely light right now in our faces with what we're doing. We're about to do this podcast, Fuel Podcast, with Leela Ansart. Talking about really what fuels us and what we're doing, some of the ups and downs, how we got through it, and things like that. It should be an interesting, podcast. I think I'm like her 5th or 6th guest, so she's still fairly new from launching. So I'm excited. Can't wait. You're not recording yet, are you? Okay. I'm going to introduce you to my co-founder, Jason Till. He's getting some behind the scenes footage.
How are you? Good to talk to you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you. So, all right. Take care.
My why for doing this is kind of twofold. I want to help the little guys be able to be on an even playing field with the bigger guys, you know, the startups, the individual inventors, to be on the same path with the Apples and the Googles who have unlimited resources. So that's one. But also, I don't want to alienate the bigger guys. You know, my goal is to have everyone involved in the patent process, starting in the U.S., but then expanding to other patent sufficient countries, but to have everyone involved in the patent process on one platform. We say we're connecting the world through innovation, and so we have a social network aspect in our platform. We have a collaboration aspect. So, you know, you can go through it by yourself. You can connect with other innovators in a similar space who may have already, you know, drafted patents, you know, similar in that space to yours, and you can connect and they can, you know, guide you in that way. Or you can work with an attorney who has years of experience and can get you, you know, over that line. So however you want to go in that journey, you know, you will own your journey, you will own that process. And then attorneys, in turn, you have a platform where every potential client is in one space. Who wouldn't love that? You know, now you have to market to this place, to that place. You can focus here on this platform. So it helps everyone throughout the process. We have tools from the beginning of the process all the way through the end, all the way through the maintenance of the patent application. Well, maintenance of the patents once they're granted, you know, status tracking. So everything you need will be within this platform. In the traditional path, you know, hiring an attorney, and these costs differ, you know, if you go to a big law firm rather than like a boutique or a small law firm, but not too much. But, you know, a typical application that you're going through, it could be anywhere from a few $1,000s, around 5 to 7, you know, up to like 20, or, you know, or more than that. On an average, you might spend between 10 and 15, you know, $1,000 on a patent. And so most people can't afford that. And then it becomes lack of capital equals lack of IP protection, which equals a lack of getting investors, which equals a lack of moving forward and you closing your doors. And so I feel like this platform will be able to keep more doors open, will be able to push more companies forward in that way, because the cost, you know, it's an archaic system that we have. You know, it doesn't change often. You know, we're not saying that you don't need attorneys because they're valuable. You know, I'm an attorney myself. I wouldn't dare say that, you know, people don't need attorneys. But some people are knowledgeable, are smart enough to go through the process alone. Some people can go through a lot of the steps by themselves, and then, you know, need an attorney to get them on the rest of the way. So then that limits the cost going forward. But with our platform, let's just say if you're on the platform for 3 years, which is the typical 2 to 3 years from start to finish of a patent application, you would spend only a couple $1,000s as opposed to the 15. But in that couple $1,000s, you can work on as many applications as you want. So let's just say if you just did one, let's just say 2,000 versus 15. But if you did 5, 2,000 versus 15 times 5, you know, so once you start doing more applications on the platform, your increase in savings increases exponentially. And so that's what we're trying to push. Like, you don't have to pick that one invention and do that application. Now you can pick the one invention and the little ones around it that may end up being more valuable than the one that you thought. And you can work on all of them at the same time and still, you know, have that savings, that cost savings. So I think it'll be huge for access to the patent system as a whole. It it will bring together different classes of people. You know how they say the haves and the have-nots. It'll allow them to all realize that patent protection to allow their companies to grow. And I'm excited about, you know, when we launch later this month, that people can really see, you know, how it will benefit them and start, you know, and start a new wave in this patent system. You know, this life can be lonely, and you can have 100 people around you, but it's still lonely to, you know, to run a startup. So to not quit, you know, because like you said, there might be 3, 5, 10 things that went wrong today, but the one thing that did go right, that's what keeps you going. That's what pushes you along. And if you constantly celebrate those small things, you will make it. You will make it to enough tomorrows that you will be great at some point doing something. Whether it's your company, your family, whatever you're doing. As long as you can keep pushing along, you have to find that within yourself. And sometimes that's hard for people because, you know, for me, you know, coming from my background, it's easy for me to quit and go back to the salary that I had because it's there. I can always do that. So what can I say to myself to say, hey, I know that's there, but what I'm doing is so much more worth it to grind it out, to push through, to get to a better side than even what I could get, you know, with that previous salary and that previous life. So I do think we all need to celebrate those small things to keep us pushing along. It's better for yourself. It's better for you mentally, you know, because you know, mental health is a big topic now, and you have to make sure that you're good. So I have 2 small kids, so I have to make sure that I'm good and in a good headspace. So when I'm around them, I can still raise them in a way that they can excel in class, at home, playing, you know, whatever they're doing. I don't want them to be hurt by what's going on in my head. So I don't want to get back into that pit. But now that grit that I got from climbing out, I can use that in everyday life, whether it be work, whether it be home, you know, whether it be whatever. I think that grit is what separates a lot of people, you know, from being good to great. So right now, it's really not, you know, the typical, you know, what you would think a celebration is, you know, party, you know, a bunch of pompous. It's really just internal to me. It's a feeling. It's a warm feeling inside, you know, even though that's kind of cliche, but it's a warm feeling that you get, and how you talk to people. So speaking with the people closest to me, you know, they see a smile on my face, or, you know, just that excitement stemming from how I speak in regular conversation. It's just that it's small. It's nothing big. I do plan to celebrate big, you know, once we launch. I do want to have, you know, something that marks that milestone. But even now, leading up to it, it's just a warm feeling inside for me. Even the small wins, you know, all wins are wins, especially in the startup life. I learned that, you know, through some of the ecosystems and accelerators that I've been in, celebrate each and every small win, because sometimes you don't know when that next win will come. So it's to keep you going, because there are going to be some valleys, you know. So you have to focus on what you're doing right now, learn from your past to help better your present, to make for a great future. I think those are the steps that you can do, you know, to make that happen, and to continue on a path of an upward trajectory. So I really think that people, when they do it that way, you know, the sky's the limit for them.